Yeah, it's definitely been not not normal for sure over the first 6 months of the year, but you know, it's reality where we are now, and for me, just focused on the only things I can control, which is what's ahead and what's in front of us right here. So, um, really, no need to complicate it more than that. I mean, obviously, if I could go back and change a lot of the things, I would, but I can't. So we'll just try to make the most of these next 10 weeks or so, and try to get in the show.
What have you seen from Alan kind of leading this team this year? Anything different, same approach, anything of that nature?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously he's had a challenge, and I've put him in that situation more this year than I would have liked to, for sure. But yeah, look, he's a top-notch guy first and foremost, and he's a good leader, and he's somebody that has enough experience to be able to plug someone into his system. That was really all I did when I came in. I was just plugged into the system that he already had created, and I think that's a good thing. So it's really always been the same. Our approach has been the same. Our prep has been the same. Obviously, we talk about different things, but just that week-to-week schedule is very similar, and it has been for, this will be 8 years at the end of this year. So I think it's a good approach, and I think he's led our team really well through a tough situation. So yeah, obviously still a lot of season left, and a lot of opportunity to get things going like we want to. But I think he's done a great job, as I've always thought, really, about him. And looking forward to continuing to go to work.
All right, go ahead.
Hi, Chase. John Burton, News Channel 5 here in Nashville, WNSR Sports Radio. Just curious what you remember about last year's race with the weather delay and being able to grind it out and come out on top.
Yeah, it was good. I remember it being really good for us. We started the race last year and we were actually pretty bad. And usually when that happens, you start a race and you're struggling. That doesn't typically get better. And with the rain, I think we ended up having a bad pit stop there at one point, and we just decided, hey, we're just going to take some time, try to think through some adjustments and do some things that we wouldn't necessarily do during a normal situation, because you would lose a lot of time on pit road doing it. So, yeah, we just kind of, I don't want to say swing for the fence. It was a thought-out process, but we just took the time to do what we thought we needed to do, and fortunately we hit it, and hit the nail right on the head. I couldn't really ask for much more after that. It was crazy. I'm not sure I've ever been a part of a race that we were that bad, and then we were all of a sudden that good. So, yeah, hopefully we missed the bad part and we can just be good. But a lot's changed, in the course of a year. At this point last year, I think we were running better, as it pertained to just the results on track. And I think people's approach kind of changed throughout the year, and that's where we started struggling a little bit, was really right after about this time last year. So just been trying to kind of scratch and claw and get back to where we need to be and catch up to where we feel like everybody else got a little better.
All right, we're going to go Bob, Holly, and then Teresa. Go ahead, Bob.
Bob Hawkers, Fox Sports. I had two. The first, last year went from day to night because of the delay. This year will go kind of day to night because of the time of the start. Did last year give you any indication of how the track will change, or with the weather, is that totally not comparable?
I don't think so. I remember last year, just kind of thinking back through it. We were already moving up the track. The racetrack was really widening out before the sun went down, before that last rain delay, if I remember right. I thought we started moving up, and it started to get really wide, and then the race kind of looked like that for the rest of the night. So I personally don't think it'll change a whole lot. I think they said they did the same track prep to the surface, so I think if that's the case, it will move up. At some point, there was a lot of pace when we moved up the track last year, so I think you'll see more of that. But I don't think it'll change much day to night, other than just be a little nicer for the fans and the people watching here.
And what do you want to see next week at Chicago? What would make that, do you feel like, for it to be a good event? Does it just need to have some excitement? Does it need to be a good race? What does it need?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think it depends on which hat you're wearing. if you're wearing a competitor's hat, for me, it's us going up there and trying to put ourselves in position to win. From a fan standpoint, you're tapping into a part of the country that I think has a lot of race fans, a lot of NASCAR fans, but into city limits that a lot of those people might not typically come out to Joliet or somewhere up there like would have typically been the case. So for them, I think it's about it being a good event and it being exciting for them, and there being a lot of stuff going on for them, and they feel like they're at the event. That needs to feel like the event that weekend over a Cubs game or whatever it may be. So I think that would make it successful from a promoter standpoint. From the racing side, I don't necessarily think. I don't think I have to leave the racetrack and think, oh wow, that was a really great race for it to be successful to the viewership or the people that show up in attendance.
All right, Holly.
Hi, Chase. Holly Kane with the NASCAR Wire Service. I wanted to ask you a little bit about the concept of perseverance. Does this season, because you haven't got that win quite yet, are you guys talking about, as you mentioned, just keeping things the same as you would always go about it, or is there a little extra sense of, come on, guys, let's rally, let's show what we can do when we have to,
Not really, honestly. I mean, I feel like a lot of times when you put yourself in those situations, it doesn't always get better when you're 11 out of 10, right? I think just being in that nice sweet spot of pushing but not pushing too far, and pushing yourself and your team but not pushing them too far. So I think there is a balance there where I feel like we have done the best and we've had the best results, and I think that's just where we need to stay personally. And when we do our jobs at that level and to our abilities, to the best of our abilities, I feel like it's been plenty good enough to go and contend, and we just got to fall on that rhythm and just do our thing. So I guess short answer, no, I don't think we need to push too hard or do anything crazy. I think our approach needs to be the same and just make sure we're executing the things that we talk about and the things that we're zoned in on. So no, I don't think we need to really change anything, but personally looking forward to it. It's kind of as bad as the year has been, to a lot of people, I feel like it's kind of fun. We got 10 weeks left, and you either get in the show or you don't. So the playoffs are kind of like that, and you get in those last 10, and you either have to run well the next week or you go home. So it's kind of that way now, and for me, I kind of enjoy it. I'm kind of looking forward to just the challenge, and seeing if we can figure it out.
All right, Teresa.
Teresa Walker, the Associated Press. So it sounds like, Chase, you don't see this as pressure, but maybe coming off of the week off, coming back to a place where you won last year, kind of a perfect combination to just reset and do a playoff chase at this point?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Sonoma was a nice run for us. We didn't win or anything, but I thought we had a good solid weekend. We got in the second round of qualifying. That was a great thing. We hadn't been doing a lot of that for quite a while, so. Yeah, just thought we did a lot of little things good last weekend, and I felt like I just kind of plugged right back into a good stride and a good cadence, and I think that cadence and that stride that we executed the weekend with in Sonoma can result in great results from here to Daytona. So yeah, like I said, we're in a tough spot, but I think it's a great opportunity to go and have some fun and embrace the challenge, and that's really kind of where my head's at.
All right, we're going to go to Chris in the back, then we'll go to Mark, and then make our way toward the front. Go ahead.
Thanks. Chris Harris at WSMV4. Chase, you talked about what it was like last year, and I don't know how much you can maybe take from that since the surface was different, but I was just wondering if you could just kind of speak to the evolution of figuring out how to race on this concrete oval the last couple of years, and what's that been like?
Yeah, I mean, this track, I would say most of the Cup Garage had a lot of laps at prior to running this race, probably more than we had at any other new racetrack that we have gone to over the last couple of years. because this was a testing facility for us, and we came here a lot in the winter. I mean, even before I was driving in Cup, we came up here and tested a bunch in the Xfinity side, and I did some tests with with the 24 team actually when Jeff was still driving too. So this was a place that was a really hot stop for everyone to come up here and run at. It was a place that you could come repeat lap time. It wasn't super hard on tires. It was just a popular testing facility. So I don't really think anything has jumped out at anyone because of that. So it's just been about putting together a good weekend and finding your balance. No different than anywhere else.
All right, Mark, go ahead.
Mark Garrow, PRN. One question relating to the fairgrounds. It's getting close, right? They're getting into the final stages of it. How do you feel about that race eventually? Somehow this working out and getting NASCAR and the top series to the fairgrounds, and what do you say to the naysayers that just don't quite know how to feel about it in Nashville?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm on one side of the fence, so in fairness, I probably don't see the whole picture. I see a great opportunity for our sport to go and shine at a place that can never be recreated. We're never going to race inside the city like that at a facility. And we're going to do the Chicago thing, yes, but that facility is just perfect, and you're not going to get inside a city like that and tap into that market with that cool of a racetrack. Likely, I just don't see it ever happening. So, I mean, to the naysayers, I mean, look, it's probably going to be one event a year. I mean, you're talking 1 or 2 days a year that facility would be as busy as these facilities become when NASCAR comes into town. So at the end of the day, I don't think the traffic or the things going on is going to be any different than the soccer stadium that is almost touching the back of the grandstands, right? When they have a soccer game, I'm sure traffic's bad, and I'm sure it's a bit of a hassle. But I think it would be well worth it, and I think it would be exciting for everyone in the town, in the city of Nashville, to go and to visit a facility like that and really see NASCAR shine at a short track, at a place that has a lot of history, and a place that I think could be the best stop on our schedule, hands down. So, yeah, obviously it has my vote. I've been saying that for years, and I've had the opportunity to race there in some other divisions, and I just think it would be, it's where we belong. For sure. This is a nice facility, and it's nice to get in the Nashville market, kind of, but it doesn't hold a candle to what that could be and what it should be.
And a quick question on this year. A number of drivers are in the same position you are, needing to win at this point with 10 races to go in the regular season to make the playoff. They don't all have your kind of race team. So how does it make you feel, I guess, as a driver, to have the confidence that any place along the way in this next 10, it wouldn't be shocking for you to win?
Yeah, man, that's a good thing, for sure. And I agree. I think our team has been really, really strong for the majority of the season. I mean, I think back to some of the races that I've, half the season or so that I've been a part of. A lot of those races, I feel like our race team's been better than I have done for them throughout the year. So if we could just combine our efforts, I think it would be really good. If I could bring to the table what they've been bringing to the table on pit road and with race strategy and things, I think we'd be in really, really good shape. So I feel like I'm very capable of doing that, just putting the right pieces of the puzzle together at the right time and just getting in a bit of a rhythm. So. There's been high spots. Kansas was a high spot. Fontana was a high spot. Sonoma was also very good. 3 very different style tracks. So that brings some positivity to my mind, and that it's there. We just gotta extract it here every week, for the next 10. So, certainly don't want to go to Daytona and be in a position to have to win a speedway race, to get in the playoffs. Odds are, if you're in that position, you're probably not going to be much of a threat anyway, in my opinion. So, we want to be a threat each week from here on, and I intend to do that.
All right, we're going to come up front here to Chris Knight, and then I need a microphone in the back, please, with MRN. Thank you.
Chris Knight, CatchFence.com. Chase, what have you been doing, if anything, yet to prepare for Chicago Street Course racing? Do you feel like you'll apply your savvy road course craft next weekend?
Yeah, honestly, we haven't dove in completely. We'll be diving in deep next week. For sure. So really, all eyes have been on Nashville, and that's just kind of how we do things. Just take it a week at a time. I think it's very easy to get too far ahead, but outside of just running some laps on iRacing and really just to familiarize myself with literally what turns are where. That's the biggest thing I think I can do for myself right now, and certainly going to dive more into that next week and start talking about setup stuff and things that we feel like we need to do well out there to be good. So yeah, it's gonna be different. From my understanding, the surface is pretty rough, a lot of 90-degree corners. I'm sure it's gonna be very hot. All those things certainly are a factor, but yeah, we'll dive in next week and go to work.
All right, go ahead.
Trey Downey, Motor Racing Network. Chase, in a couple weeks when we go to Atlanta, it'll be a night race this year. Do you think it being a night race will change it at all?
No, I don't think it'll change the racing itself, but I think rightfully so. I think it should be a night race, much like the majority of these summer races should be. When I saw this race was a night race and Atlanta was a night race, I'm like, dang, was somebody actually listening to something that I said? Probably not, but nonetheless, this time of year is just it's hot. For the drivers, it is what it is. It's hot every week for us, but for the people sitting in the grandstands, I mean, goodness, it's 95 degrees out here in the summer and sitting in bleachers. Like, there is no reason to be roasting on a Sunday afternoon when this facility has lights. And same for Atlanta. That just makes no sense. There's no basketball season's over. Baseball is on TV, of course, through this time of year, but it's regional coverage anyway, and they're hard to watch. So from a TV standpoint, I don't really think there's any excuse for that. Would love to see these events be on Saturday night instead of Sunday night for people that have to go to work on Monday morning. But I just don't see any reason why we shouldn't have more night races during these months where it's so hot for the spectators and the people here to enjoy it more.
And then this stretch last year was kind of when you pulled away for the regular season championship. Is there a race over the next 10 that you feel more confident in others as far as pulling out that win?
No. I mean, I would like to think that we can have a good shot any week, honestly. But yeah, no. I mean, I'm just taking it a week at a time right now, honestly. And there's been tracks over the years where I'm like, yeah, we should be good there, and we go and we run terrible. So me thinking that doesn't get me very far anyway. So I try not to bother.
All right, we're going to take one final question.
Steven Stump, frontroof.com. Chase, it seemed like last year you mentioned how it was a rough start. It seemed like once it turned to dusk and then darkness, it seemed like your car came to life. Do you feel that it being at night this year will be kind of more suited to you and your team?
I mean, historically, we've run. I don't know. We've had some good runs during the day too, so that's tough. But honestly, thinking back to last year, in fairness, I thought we were really pretty good there before that last rain delay. We were just way back in the pack, but I was really happy with our car, so I don't necessarily think that had a whole lot to do with it.
Okay. And then you also mentioned about how you feel that a lot of races in the summer should be at night. Is there any tracks in particular that you'd want to see a night race in the future?
Any of them that have lights, or any of them that don't have lights. I'd love to see them have lights, so we could do that. But that's just my opinion. I mean, I certainly think there's a place for Sunday afternoon events and Sunday afternoon races, but it's just you get in these months. I just personally think it would be a more enjoyable environment for people to come watch and to spectate and to have a better time, ultimately. I mean, from the TV standpoint, you're sitting at home and everybody's sitting in the AC that's watching the race likely, but for the people at the racetrack, I do think it is nicer, and I think the energy level is higher too. Granted, I also believe that less is more, so if you have night races all the time, are the night races as cool? I don't know. I mean, I think there's definitely a balance for all that, but I would certainly like to see more of it, and I was super happy to see that we changed these again. Just no reason not to with what's on TV, what's not on TV, and what you're up against.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
All right, Chase, thank you so much for spending time with us. We wish you the best of luck this weekend.